This is a map of the United States, a country that is home to many breathtaking natural attractions. Here on the map, you can see the Grand Canyon, an immense canyon cut by the Colorado River in the high plateau region of northwestern Arizona, US, noted for its fantastic shapes and coloration. Although the Grand Canyon's awesome grandeur and beauty are its main draws, perhaps its most significant and valuable aspect lies in the timescale of the Earth's history. There is no other place on Earth that can compare to the Grand Canyon in terms of its extensive and profound record of geologic events. But did you know that scientists use rocks to determine the ages of places like the Grand Canyon? Yes, they can tell how long the Grand Canyon has been around by looking at the different layers of rocks in its walls. The Grand Canyon is tricky because the rocks in its walls appear to be missing a large portion of the picture. In 1869, a man named John Wesley Powell noticed that several layers of rock that should have been in the Grand Canyon walls were missing. The walls are missing more than 1 billion years of rock. In some areas, rocks 1.4 to 1.8 billion years old have been discovered directly beneath rocks only 520 million years old. This is a significant problem when it comes to dating the canyon's rocks. There are various theories about parts of the rock being washed away, but no one knows for certain why so much of the canyon's history is lost. This is known as the Great Unconformity, and it has only been discovered in a few places. The Great Unconformity plays into the age of the Grand Canyon. Because the rocks can't be properly dated, the age of the Grand Canyon can only be guessed. Some say the canyon is only 5 to 6 million years old. Others say it's 70 million years old. That's a huge difference. One of the Grand Canyon mysteries that has astonished many people is the allegation of cursed objects. This is how everything started. Don McGuire, a trader, encountered Emma Lee while crossing the Colorado River on his route through Arizona in 1879. In exchange for some of McGuire's necessities, Lee offered him a stunning Navajo blanket, but she forewarned him about its sinister history. According to the woman, the cursed blanket brought nothing but disaster to her husband before his untimely death. McGuire, who was plainly not a believer in superstitions, left the canyon the following day. However, over the next 2 years, McGuire detailed 100 calamities, all of which ceased only after he misplaced the blanket. Such myths of cursed Native American relics are widespread at the Grand Canyon. In fact, park rangers routinely receive letters from tourists requesting the return of stolen sacred artifacts. Pottery, for example, is regularly removed from Native American burial grounds before being hurriedly returned to the national park a short time later. According to park rangers, the people's argument is always the same. They've had poor luck, plagues, and other illnesses since stealing the artifacts. Is this a fact or a common urban legend? Maybe we'll never find out. Another surprising enigma associated with the Grand Canyon is the regular discovery of skeletal remains across the canyon. Such horrible finds understandably keep the local authorities, the Coconino County Sheriff's Office, very busy. The county established the Cold Case Squad to investigate unusual disappearances, unattended deaths, and killings, as well as identity remains. A 1975 homicide on the canyon's north rim is one of the cases the team is now examining. All that was discovered at the location was a bloodied shirt with 36 stab holes, which the sheriff's office suspects belonged to a woman murdered by members of the Outlaws, a motorcycle gang. The Grand Canyon's official body count is unclear, as are the identities of the victims, whose deaths included accidents, suicides, rapid murder, and long-term torture. Some of the victims have been given names like Little Miss X and Valentine Sally in an attempt to build an identity. To this day, the Cold Case Squad is still piecing together murders from over a century ago in the hopes of delivering closure, if not to the loved ones, then to the souls who roam the canyon's grounds. If you plan on being one of the nearly 5 million people who visit the Grand Canyon each year, you should exercise extreme caution. With so many skeletal remains, is it any surprise that there have been numerous tales of ghost sightings in the Grand Canyon? The Wandering Woman is one of the prominent spirits said to haunt the Grand Canyon. The Wandering Woman is believed to be walking along the rim when the sun sets and the canyon trails turn dim. Many people have reported seeing her sobbing hysterically as her soul roams the rim of the North Kaibab Trail in search of her long-lost family. She committed suicide in the North Rim Lodge in the 1920s after learning that her husband and son had been murdered in a hiking mishap, according to legend. The lodge was destroyed by fire in 1926, but it has since been restored. Many North Kaibab Trail personnel have spotted her wearing a white robe with little flowers on it. She constantly has a scarf wrapped around her neck. She was waiting at the doorway to his apartment when one shocked forest ranger looked up one day. Another young ranger recalls hearing sobbing outside his cabin one night and mistook it for sobbing from another ranger who had received sad news that day. The next night, he heard the same frantic weeping. When he opened the door, there was no one there. The next night, the same wailing drove him outdoors to the trailhead. What he saw sent shivers up his spine. A white shimmer of light travelling down the path, which he described as resembling a cloak around a woman. He stood there watching and listening until it was no longer visible. He told another ranger about his incident the next day and was told he had spotted the wandering woman. But did you know there's a hotel in the Grand Canyon where people go solely to catch a glimpse of something eerie? The El Tovar Hotel, located just 6 meters, 20 feet from the South Rim, was the epitome of luxury when it first opened its doors in 1905. Since then, horrified guests have reported several tales of ghostly apparitions, pledging never to return to the haunted premises. One of the hotel's hallmark mysteries is a flat, unobtrusive headstone with the epitaph Pearl A. Ward, 1879 to 1934, just feet from the front doors. Countless tourists and personnel have reported to have seen a black-clad figure stroll from the stairwell to the grave before wandering off and disappearing into the woods throughout the previous century. A well-dressed older gentleman on the 3rd floor is another disturbing yet well-known presence. Visitors have reported being invited by the man to the hotel's annual holiday event throughout the years. From ghostly figures strolling the canyon's gravel trails to phantom employees working late into the night, unexplained incidents continue to draw visitors hoping to catch a glimpse of the paranormal. However, the canyon's secrets involve more than simply ghosts. The Grand Canyon has been used in some of the most bizarre suicide attempts. As an example, Patricia Astolfo, 36, attempted to drive her car off the canyon lip after watching the film Thelma and Louise more than 50 times. Her preparations were thwarted when the car's suspension became entangled in an outcropping of rock. Patricia, undeterred, leapt over the cliff's edge, only to land on a boulder 6 meters below. She crawled to the edge, bloodied and bruised, and rolled off, plummeting to her death. Similar incidents of people driving their vehicles down the canyon's rim are surprisingly prevalent. One such event occurred in 2009 when George Chiriac checked out of the El Tovar Hotel and subsequently drove his car over the South Rim. In 2004, a man in his 20s committed suicide by jumping out of a helicopter while on a scenic tour. The other passengers, who were in total and utter disbelief, characterized the man as quiet and normal just moments before leaping down the canyon's deepest part, 1,200 meters below. Another interesting thing about the Grand Canyon is its caves. We currently have a record of slightly more than 300 caves being discovered. However, geologists believe the canyon may contain up to 1,000 caves. What stories or treasures could these caves hold? This is a question that many people have raised. This whole conspiracy theory stems from one specific incident. The Arizona Gazette wrote a piece about a group of explorers in 1909. The Smithsonian explorers are said to have discovered a strange network of vast caves. They claimed that 50,000 people could live happily inside the caverns. The caverns were also brimming with statues, weapons, seeds, and other treasures. The artifacts were also nothing like the Native Americans had. The objects appeared to be Tibetan or Egyptian. Everyone was understandably enthralled by this story, so there's a rumor that there's an underground Egyptian city in the Grand Canyon. The Smithsonian Institution, on the other hand, has no records of any of the explorers mentioned in the article and no relics from the expedition. Some believe it was a ruse to sell papers by the Gazette. Other conspiracy theorists believe that the Smithsonian is simply concealing the story to fit the popular narrative. Others believe the caverns are a portal to the fourth dimension, and that it is a heavily guarded region that no one can access right now. There are also rumors about Egyptian pyramids and artifacts in the forbidden area of the Grand Canyon. Perhaps the cave story inspired these rumors. Maybe. Nobody knows. However, no matter the validity of the stories and rumours, it certainly makes for some interesting theories that you can discuss while exploring. There's no doubt that the Grand Canyon will continue to mystify explorers and scientists for years to come. Its sheer size means that we have probably only scratched the surface when it comes to the mysteries of the canyon. Let us know what you think of the Grand Canyon and its mysteries in the comments section below.